Say it again, Rick. Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? All right. Are you doing as great as I am? Oh, good. That's good. Oh, well, we need to work on that. What do we need to do? Some chocolate or something? Yes. I always like to start off with just a little humor. Although I'm running low, I need you residents to submit me some more humor to use. Okay. I can't believe it's September. I haven't heard a single mention of Christmas.
Right.
Maria and I are talking about it already, though, aren't we? Mostly that I'm putting stuff in your Christmas storage closet.
Not working in retail.
That's true. I usually feel pretty handy until I try to find the end of a roll of tape. Anybody been there? Been there a lot. I forgot my Fitbit, so this walk doesn't count. Okay. Sorry, I gotta put my glasses on for this one. Oh, Mark, this is awesome. Let's text a picture to the kids. Has anybody experienced that? So my kids are constantly looking down at their phone. And when we're driving around, like we go for a drive in the country or go out to Inks Lake or something, and there's beautiful wildflowers on both sides of the road, and I'm like, hey guys, look out the window. And they're all just like this. I'm like, we need to text a picture. So that's what that's about. To answer your question, yes, I think we're supposed to tip the guy who sets up the beach chairs. Yep. The tide rolled in on him, didn't it? Oh, we don't actually stop anymore. We just slow down and fly low. Anybody feeling like that with the airplanes lately? All right, COVID. So we haven't changed a lot from my last report. We've had about 60 cases total since July the 1st of 22 amongst the residents, and then associates have been 55 cases. Everybody with pretty mild symptoms. We've tested almost 15,000 now since this all began. The infection rate's about 1.99%. You might as well say 2%. Ruth, would you call EBS and see if they can get us some more chairs if we need them? We're only testing if you're symptomatic, 99.7% vaccinated residents and associates still. How many have had boosters at this point? Good. All visitors must screen in still. Associates and visitors must wear a mask in assisted living and healthcare levels of care. And they must be at least a surgical mask or better. So if you need those, just ask reception for them. Visitation is allowed with no restriction on number in independent living, and there's no limit to visitors for breakfast and lunch, so no limit to the number of guests. Transportation services are at full capacity, and we do recommend that masks are used when you're outside of Westminster, especially in large groups. Guests are now allowed an audience for activity programs, quarantine only for those who are symptomatic. I think there's been a lot of questions about guests for activities. Yes, they are allowed. Stay home if you are ill, please. If you're not feeling well and you're in doubt, wear a mask as an added precaution. So even if, like, I know right now there's kind of a lot of allergies out there and you're maybe feeling sniffly, if you think that it's more severe than usual, then go ahead and wear a mask, okay? Visitation is still limited to 2 visitors at a time in the healthcare center and the assisted living, unless the visitation takes place outside. Everyone, including you, residents, must wear a mask at all times while visiting the assisted living and the healthcare center, so the arbor and the assisted living. Residents must screen in, so you have to sign in to the AccuShield system, because we have to keep a log of all the residents, all the visitors that go into the healthcare center and the assisted living. Okay. Questions and answers. I took some of the angry language out of the questions. So most of it. There's a little bit. When are we getting a new elevator in the A wing of Preston? Or when are we switching elevator companies to one that can keep this elevator in repair? So actually, so here's what happened. It's a great story. We replaced the mechanics of elevator on A wing. And when we replaced the mechanics, the elevator started to fail. It was failing before on occasion, but not like it has been. So what's been happening is the new elevator mechanics are overheating. So the elevator mechanicals were replaced with new parts, and the elevator's been overheating, so what we're having to do is we're having to condition the air that's in the mechanical room for that elevator. So we're adding air conditioning to that mechanical room to keep it from overheating. Once that's installed, it should cut down on the breaking down of that elevator. But it is new, and we have a great company, really. ThyssenKrupp is who we use for our elevators, and they've done a really good job for us over the years. I know that we're frustrated with that elevator, and we're also frustrated with the Windsor expansion elevator, and that's being worked on today. So we actually spent about $150,000 on repairing that, or bringing up to code the new elevator. Can you update us on the library project? Yes, in the following slides. So it's difficult to see, but the cabinets have, the work on the cabinets has been completed, and they've been stained, and it looks really good. They did a good job matching it up the best they could. The shelving has turned out nice, and I think that the shelving on the bottom shelf that pulls out now. We'll be replacing the carpet in there very soon. I don't have an exact date, but it should be very soon. And then the painting has been completed, so it should be better than it was. So lots more book space for us to utilize, and it came out really well. Valente, if you see Valente, his team did that matching on the stain. It really did a great job. He tried 7 or 8 different types of stain and brought me samples until we found one that was close enough. And realize it's a little different because it's 10 years of wear on the other shelving pieces, but it's really close. Question: what is this? So has anybody seen these 2 wires coming out of this plate in the wall? How many people have one? Raise your hand proudly. Oh, okay. Not many, but okay. What this is this is the backbone for the Wi-Fi that's coming to the apartments. This is good news, right? Because you want Wi-Fi that flies, right? That's what I keep hearing from everybody. We want Wi-Fi that works really well. So this is the beginning of that project, right? So what's happening is they're running wires, Ethernet wires to every apartment, and what will be installed at this location is a wireless access point. It's kind of a square thing that sits on the wall, and it will carry the signal for the Wi-Fi inside of your apartment. So all of your smart devices, your cell phone, your tablets, your smart TVs, your computer, all that stuff is going to be functioning so much better once this Wi-Fi comes on board. So it's good news that they're slowly bringing that up. We're on level 5 now, so Spectrum is working on installing all of that backbone for the Wi-Fi system. And then we'll have 2 Wi-Fi systems. We'll have Spectrum in your apartments, and then you'll have the Westminster Wi-Fi, the Inspire Wi-Fi outside of your apartments and all the common spaces, okay? So then, we should not have to sit and watch the screen spin on movies. You should be able to watch a movie, you should be able to email, look at the internet, whatever you're doing, and you are doing stuff. I know you are. You'll be able to do all of that with speed and efficiency. Okay. Why isn't the charging station for the autos working? So I promised that we would get that fixed a couple months ago, and what's happening is at the time that the station went down, or we started to reinstall the station, the city of Austin was renewing their contract for the service. They just finished reinitializing their contract, so now we're up to date on the contract. And unfortunately, we had to submit a work order to the city of Austin to install a new modem so they can charge you when you plug into that system. So that's pending the city. So as soon as they get a chance, which with the city of Austin may be a couple months, they'll get to it and they'll fix it. What is the problem with the new fobs? Anybody having problems with the new fobs? Some of you? Okay. So there seems to be an issue with the fobs not holding the information for the exterior door system for some fobs. And we're working on it with the subcontractor to resolve the issue. The other issue is that the new fob, you have to hold on the reader for it to activate sometimes. So especially on the exterior readers, you need to instead of holding the fob near the device, the reader, you need to actually place the fob on the reader, okay, and then it'll pick up your signal. For some reason, it's just not nearly as sensitive as the old one was, but they do work. I found that myself walking around the campus. I've had some issues with putting it, near it, or where I used to be able to hold it a couple inches away from the reader. It worked, but now it doesn't. You have to hold it right on the reader, especially like going in from the courtyard. Can you update us on the progress on the ground floor of Preston? Yes, the fitness annex and the theater are about 90% complete. We have started demo on the Preston gym, preparing it for a woodworking shop. We're pending concrete sidewalk and ramp for the store, for the Hidden Treasure store, and an exterior door for the Hidden Treasure store. The pottery studio is a work in progress. The salon furniture is still in there, so we're waiting for the state school to come pick that up, and then we'll be ordering equipment soon for the pottery studio. When will the dispensers be moved down in the public restroom? So there's a complaint that in the public restroom, the solarium, especially, the dispensers are sitting up a little too high. All of the public restrooms are scheduled for renovation, so we're going to be redoing all of those. We're going to be taking off the old tile, replacing the tile, replacing the vanities, replacing the toilet, and making all of those similar to what we have at the bistro area. So when we complete that project, we'll replace all of the dispensers at that time, and then we will place them at ADA height, which is 46 inches. How many visitors may we have for breakfast and lunch? There is currently no limit to the number of guests for breakfast or lunch. Okay, how do you justify charging me $500 or more a month when, by your own records, I eat only $250 to $350 worth of food a month? We're not really charging you $500 a month. What happens is Westminster allocates $500 of dining dollars for the community, more than any other community in town. So you're allocated $500 a month in dining dollars to spend in any dining menu. This is more than any of the other senior livings do in town. And you may use those dollars at the little store or the restaurant locations, any restaurant location. When the cocktail lounge opens, you'll be able to use them for drinks if you want. It's really, you can use them for guests. But those are dining dollars allocated as part of your monthly service fee, right? Our menu pricing is also very competitive. I don't think there's many places in town that you can get, a tenderloin fillet for what we're charging, right? Or chicken breast for that matter. When the cocktail lounge opens, we're not going to charge you $15 for a margarita like at restaurants. We're going to charge you much more reasonably. I try to make sure that you feel like you're getting a good deal. But those charges, those allocations not only cover the food, but it also covers the production of the food, right? So think about all of the staff that are necessary. Whether you eat or not, we're still employing staff to provide services to all of the residents that live here. If you go on vacation for a couple weeks, we don't let those people go. We keep them employed, right? As we should. So there's a lot of expense that goes into the production of one meal. The $500 allocation is a really good number, so use it. And if you don't, invite some friends to help you use it. Can you number the driveway entrances to avoid confusion? Yes. So we're working on this, and I think I've talked about it in previous chats. The plan is to put large white letters on each entrance, the glass of each entrance. So it will describe, it'll say 2200 Jackson Avenue on the Windsor entrance, 2232 for the Healthcare Center entrance, 2300 Bull Creek for the new Carlisle entrance, 41, sorry. What am I thinking? Sorry. I'm confused too. No, 4100, 4200, 4232. So I'm thinking about Jackson, Missouri right now for some reason. But anyway, 4100 is Jackson, Preston. And so it'll have these numbers on each lobby, the glass of each lobby. So we hope that that helps. If that doesn't work and they're still confused, then we'll add the same numbers at the beginning of the entrances, the driveway itself. So the roadway will have those numbers as well. So hopefully that will help solve the issue. This is all part of a big signage package that's coming soon. And so, you know, I had some residents help review the signage package. And then they took the edits to the signage consultant. And then they have formalized a plan and sent it back to me. Now they're getting bids for the project to be completed. Hopefully it's going to be completed in fall, in the early fall. I shouldn't say early fall. It's fall now, right? Probably October-ish, end of October, early November. Is anything being done with the light pollution, reflection in Harrisville Hall? This stuff. Yes, we're looking at blackout roller shades similar to the ones that are along the windows there, or a solar film solution that we can put on these windows and the doors. We understand there is light reflection coming through the windows and it makes it difficult to see the screen, but I should say that this projector that's up in the ceiling and those two that are on the sides there are actually laser projectors, so it'll be much easier to see than this old projector. This thing is tired, and as soon as we can get the controllers, which are on back order, and I've fussed at the IT group that's supposed to be installing the controllers, because we haven't gotten a date for their installation yet. Once those things come in, it really won't matter. This light pollution won't make a big difference because the laser is so much sharper, you'll be able to see it. At least that's what I'm told. But we will work on some either solar film or blackout shades. I understand that Westminster is going to have assisted living apartments available for people who do not have a contract with Westminster. I was wondering, will there be enough assisted living apartments available for residents with contracts? Anybody know the answer to that question? Yes. We always prioritize our life plan residents, so residents like yourself, for all levels of care. We'll never fill the building with outside residents and leave one of you needing assisted living or a higher level of care. You're always our priority, right? But allowing residents from outside of Westminster to come into Westminster helps all of us because it diversifies our revenue, right? It brings in another revenue that we haven't had before, which helps keep your monthly service fees low, right? When we take residents from outside of Westminster for Medicare stays and we help them rehabilitate, which we're really good at, it helps offset the expenses in running Westminster. So it really helps everyone when we're able to do that. But we'll never, as we never have, take more residents from outside to the detriment of a life plan resident. You're always our number one priority, always, all the time, okay? Can assisted living and memory care residents have meals in the Laurel dining room and bistro instead of their dining rooms? And can they bring guests and pay for that? Yes, they can. When reservations are made and the resident is capable, there is also a private dining room located in the Carlisle building that can be used for family gatherings. There are gathering spaces in the assisted living and memory care dining rooms as well. But absolutely, you can go to the Laurel Dining Room and you can use dining dollars there. If they're permanently assigned to the healthcare center and they want to, they don't have a spouse and they're assigned to the healthcare center, then they would get charged for the meal in the healthcare center, or the Laurel Dining Room, unless they tell food and beverage, hey, don't cook my meal today, I'm gonna go to Bistro for lunch, right? We would ask you to tell us ahead of time so that we don't cook meals in 2 places, right? But yes, that can happen. Chuck informed us of the driveway paving around the Windsor building. Will there be visitor parking at that location as well? Yes. So, I don't know if I have a picture. No, I don't. In the Windsor, around the Windsor and the Carlisle on the west-hand side of the building, the west side of the building, there will be visitor parking on that grade. So that's one of the things they're doing right now. You may notice that coming off from the concrete wall, there's these little islands. That's to protect the parking. So the curbs are being constructed now, and they'll be poured soon to create that visitor parking. There's about 40 spaces at that location and then 12 spaces in front of the healthcare center. All together, it's about 50 so spaces of guest visitor parking along that west side of the Windsor. The associates and the residents will be parking in the parking garage beneath the Carlisle. And we'll assign spaces to folks that are here often, like if there's visitors that come in 5 days a week, or if there's private sitters that work here 5 days a week, then we'll assign those folks spaces as well. But there is guest and visitor parking at that location. It won't be online until, we probably won't open that up until later in October. I noticed an associate in food and beverage with a name tag title of director. Have we hired another director? No. We have one F&B director, Brian. We have Sarah Faust, who's the assistant food and beverage director. I believe that what you saw said supervisor. There, we have hired some F&B supervisors, and those are floor supervisors. And floor supervisors work in the dining room. They're supervising the servers, the hospitality ambassadors that work in the dining room. And you may have noticed over the last couple of weeks that we've added quite a few food and beverage associates. And I talked to you a while back about how we were creating a hospitality ambassador program and a service incentive program, and to drive new associates to us, right? Because we want to be more competitive. And so that's working. That's a good thing. If you see new staff, introduce yourself, be kind to them, try to show them appreciation, and I think they're going to be really good associates. But those are food and beverage supervisors, floor supervisors. Can you educate us on the organizational chart for Westminster? I'll try, but it's a big chart, and this is the lousy screen right now. So, let me see if this works. Yay. All right. I'm going to try. So, that's the board of directors. There's me. That's Cassie Haley. She's the community administrator. This is Sarah Lloyd. She's the associate executive director. So Sarah supervises general services. Let me skip. So Sarah Lloyd, she's the associate executive director. She supervises Brent Austin, who's the director of general services. And then Brent is in charge of Wallace Johnson, who's our new security director. Danny Roach, who's our director of IT. Stephanie Garza, who's the environmental services director. And then Antonia Montgomery, who's refurbishment manager now. And Oliver Gore, who's general maintenance supervisor. Then on the community administrator side, you have Cassie that supervises the healthcare center, right? So the Arbor is our healthcare center. And that's Tim Bilbo, he's the director of nursing. And they just had a deficiency-free survey. Really good group. And then he has supervisors under him. So in healthcare, there's an assistant director of nursing for the first floor, memory care. And then there's an assistant director of nursing for the second floor, which is our long-term care. And of course, there's charge nurses and MDS coordinators and things like that that report to those ADONs. Brian Grossman reports directly to me. He is, of course, the food and beverage director. Under him, he has Sarah Faust, who is assistant food and beverage director, and also kind of in charge of the front of the house, right? So all the dining rooms. And then beneath her, she has Felipe, who's now our dining manager. Tim Thurn is the executive chef, and he has sous chefs, Anthony and Raheem, that report to him. And then, I can't even read this myself. So all of there's line chefs that report to the sous chefs, but there's a sous chef over each restaurant. So each kitchen has a back of the house, and the sous chef is a supervisor. We've already hired a third sous chef that one of those folks will likely go to the Rowan restaurant when it opens. So we're starting to, I've had some questions about this, we're starting to onboard our new staff that we're adding for the expansion already in October. So in preparation for all the other stuff, the larger assisted living, the memory care, the new restaurant, all of that. All of these are the directors that report to me. So you have Robin Akins, she's the Director of Health and Wellness. Rachel, Life Enrichment Director. Kim Ogden, she's the Human Resources Director. Jordan Bleeker, she's the Marketing Director. Olga, my she's the Community Support Director, so she supervises all the reception desks. She's also hampered with me, unfortunately, poor thing. She's my executive assistant. Ruth Sunil, who you all know, she's the Community Life Services Director, so she supervises all the activity programs. Maria works for her. I think that's everybody. Rachel Gill's Life Enrichment. Rachel's office will be moving from the second floor to the old Windsor Annex when we kind of reopen that area. The Life Enrichment office will be there with some soft seating for support group meetings and things like that. I did not know Joe Sanchez, he's the Assisted Living Director, so let me see if I can find that. Oh, we don't have that one, I'm sorry. But assisted living, so assisted living is growing. In the past, it's only been 10 employees really working in assisted living, serving about 22 units. So as we grow, we're gonna have 78 units of assisted living and memory care. So Joe, we've hired and onboarded a director of health services for assisted living, so kind of a director of nursing for assisted living. She's a registered nurse that will supervise all of the nursing aspects of the new assisted living and memory care. And then we've hired and onboarded Angel Oleski. She will supervise the admissions. So she'll be the admissions coordinator for that level of care. Just an update on the Carlisle construction. So we just installed the full power, the electricity for the Carlisle, so that was exciting. Austin Energy was telling us it wouldn't be until like the third week of October. Luckily, we had some friends that we could call and helped us through that and get it in on time. So that was completed. So now we're bringing on the systems, so the air conditioning systems and things like that. We're going to close down the healthcare center entrance starting tomorrow. So tonight, they're going to be moving the majority of the healthcare center entrance stuff to the marketing lobby like we did before, so that they can finish the paving and the grading for all of that area, that roadway in front of the healthcare center entrance, which is about a week ahead of schedule. The last time I talked to you, I think we thought that that was gonna occur October 3rd. Now it's pushed up to tomorrow. So you haven't received a notice, but you will. And it's a good thing to have a construction project that's running just a little bit ahead of schedule. Better to be a little ahead of schedule than behind schedule. Because behind schedule costs us money for every day. But ahead of schedule, that's a blessing. So we'll take that as it comes. City inspections, we're really finishing out the Carlisle pretty quickly. So city inspections are gonna start the middle of October. There's most of the sheetrock work is done, the painting's been done, most of the cabinetry's been installed in independent living apartments. Now they're working on the other levels of care. It's really making a lot of progress. So hopefully we'll be able to do some tours pretty soon. And we still are on schedule for a substantial completion of the Carlisle on 1229. The contractor is now parking in the parking garage, which is a good thing. And the parking garage is not falling apart, so it's a good thing. We're using it and it works. The first move-in for the Carlisle is still anticipated to be January the 18th, and we hope to have everybody in by the 22nd of April. And then the first move-in of memory care and assisted living will likely be February the 1st. And so all that seems to be on schedule as well. This is just a picture of the map. And the area that we're talking about shutting down is this area right here. So we're going to shut down this parking and this driveway here, and that's the next phase. So they'll be paving this soon, and then they'll complete this work. Beautiful buildings. You can see where they're testing the waterproofing here. They've put water in there. Oh, sound system in Harrisville Hall and the bistro. So the sound system has been installed, and we're still waiting on control boards. I talked about the AV equipment. We have the projectors, the drop-down screens are here, but we are still waiting on the control boards that go in that closet back there in the back. Once we receive those, then we'll be able to use these great projectors and also start recording these and playing them on 1890, these programs. The Signage Project assessments was completed, resident review was completed, now on the second draft of the plan and the bidding process, and then production and install. Signage for the exterior, the demo was actually starting this week, and interior to be likely installed in the late fall like I talked about earlier. Spectrum cable boxes, the installation is now complete. Everybody believe me? Y'all have cable boxes? Are they working? No? Come see me after. Spectrum Wi-Fi, like I talked about, they're on the 4th floor. Actually, they moved up to the 5th floor at this point, and that's the installation of the wiring. Keyless entry system is 90% online. We still have the common doors to finish. So offices and mechanical rooms and things like that. The solar roof project has been completed, so they have done the DC work, so all of the solar panels are in place, and I'm told they're working. The AC work, so the connections to our mechanical rooms is starting now. They've just begun that, so you may have seen some more equipment brought up with the crane. That work is ongoing and should be completed and online in October. And in each lobby we'll have a readout that tells us how much power the system is creating. Remodel for our Preston ground floor, we talked about that already, but we're about 60% in the total project. The boiler project for the Windsor began this week. Anybody notice the mobile chiller out in front of the Windsor building? Mrs. Leach, I know you did.
Loud.
Nobody else, yeah. So we're having problems with the Windsor chiller. Again, this is the chiller we repaired a few months ago, and it's having problems again. So we're going to repair it, but we're also looking at a possible replacement, which is a few $100,000. But we've been having so many problems with this chiller, it may be less expensive to replace it than in the long run keep repairing it. Apparently this was a new generation of chillers, and it's prone to problems. It's about 12 years old, so. The boiler project for the Preston, you should have seen a crane on the back side of the Preston, and they were loading pipes up to the Preston roof to start the project for the Preston. And this boiler project is to take all of the boilers out of the mechanical rooms in the Preston and locate them in one location on the roof of the Preston. These boilers will be able to ramp up from 10% to 100%. It's a 3 million BTU system, and it should save us a lot of energy down the long run, and also be more efficient, so less problems with hot water. Again, I want to mention the HCC, the Arbor entrance will shut down starting tonight for about 4 weeks. The marketing entrance will serve as the main entrance for the Arbor and the assisted living for that time. We're going to leave 2 kiosks in the lobby for the time being so residents can sign in on that system when visiting the other levels of care. Also a change that's occurring will be the administration suite for healthcare will be moving from the first floor to the second floor where the old rehab space was. So that lobby will be a construction zone starting probably around the 10th of October, and we'll be reconfiguring those offices and that lobby a little bit. We'll be building a boardroom, which will be a new meeting space that the residents can use for committee meetings, and also the board of directors can use. I will be using on occasion as well. And my offices will move from the apartment that I'm in the Preston to the Windsor administration area. Probably sometime in December, assuming that we meet the schedule. It may be January, but. We got some good news on the solar project recently. The federal government approved a tax credit, an investment tax credit for our solar project, and we're going to get another 30% off of our solar project. So Westminster ends up paying 35% for a $1 million solar panel project, and it'll pay for itself in 4 years. So that's pretty awesome. And it's guaranteed for 25 years. So it's going to save us between $60,000 and $70,000 in utility cost every year. Very good. Just talk a little bit about recycling. I just included this, and I promise to get out a document, right, for this, and we'll do that soon. I just want to go through the items that are not recyclable, right? Styrofoam products, egg cartons, food waste, pizza boxes, plastic bags, films and packaging, paper milk cartons, Ziploc baggies and trash bags, masks and gloves, strings of lights and other long flexible materials, coffee cups, soup bowls, and fruit cups. And please don't place the bistro plates and silverware or Laurel plates and silverware in the recycle bins. Take them back to food and beverage.
We can do that.
Some pretty neat achievements in 2022. I think we've all talked about Ruth's Award, Extraordinary Women Award, Austin American Statesman. She is extraordinary, is she not?
Yes.
Sarah Lloyd, Austin Women in Business Showcase participant, so she was a nominee. And then we received a Silver Safety Award, and that is an award from our management company, Life Care Services, for keeping our incidents and accidents among our associates among the lowest in the company. And we received $2,000 for safety programs to use at our community from them, and then a small trophy. So that's kind of neat. And over the last few years, we've seen a dramatic decline in injuries to our associates, which is a good thing for the community and the residents. And the associates, of course. We also received 2 awards, one for at the sales conference in San Antonio recently, 95% occupancy awards during the pandemic for independent living and healthcare centers. So if you see anybody from marketing, you may congratulate them for their awards. 22 Alzheimer's fundraising. I'm proud to announce that we have raised $115,000 and $772.32. Our last event was the dog show. It was really a great event. Our next event is the silent auction, which is Friday, October the 14th. There'll be some really neat things to bid on. We're also having the Wheel of Wine. Have you ever heard of the Wheel of Fruit? That's what we do at our safety program. Well, the Wheel of Wine is for $1. You get to spin the wheel and you could win a bottle of wine or a banana. Or a mug, right? Yes. Here we grow again mug from Westminster. So it's a great fundraising thing and it should be fun. I invite you all to participate. We'll be doing that in Harrisville Hall, yeah. There'll be a hotel stay and scenic flight available, art, gift certificates, theme gift baskets, tickets to shows, movie tickets, theme park tickets, wine tasting, dinner with family and friends. So all of the departments that are here at Westminster have worked to create a basket for this silent auction. Some of our vendors and business partners have helped us create baskets and items for this great cause. So it's really a fun event, so do try to participate. That's on October the 14th, okay? Just a reminder, star cards can be used for any associate, including those in management and supervisor positions. Star cards can be turned in at any reception desk or any member of management. As we go along throughout the year, we collect the star cards and then we appoint actually you all appoint based on your star recommendations, the star of the month and the star of the year. Star cards are used to identify associates that go above and beyond, and they are used to show appreciation to all associates regardless of their position. And I'll tell you that the associates just light up every time they receive one, so keep that in mind. Westminster is collecting monetary donations for Safe Alliance. I know that I've heard recently you guys are fundraised out, and that may be true. I really appreciate the fact that you all supported Alzheimer's Texas so much this year, and all of the support that you've done throughout the year. The Safe Alliance is a great cause as well. We were trying to raise at least $1,000. I think we're not quite there, or maybe half that. But Westminster will match the donation up to $1,000. The Safe Alliance is really, it's a merger between the Austin Children's Shelter and Safe Place. Exists to stop abuse for everyone by serving the survivors of child abuse, sexual assault, and exploitation, and domestic violence. So it's a great cause if you're looking for an end of the year cause to donate to. That's a great one.
Chuck?
And that's all. Yes, ma'am. That's all I have. I was going to ask if there's questions.
About safe, they also have a preventing arm called Strong Start, and they work with marginal families, actually going into the home, teaching parenting skills, mentoring children, getting them extra resources if they're needed. And yet we never hear about that. We hear SAFE is a union of two former organizations, but Strong Start is right there doing prevention.
So if you donate to SAFE, does the Strong Start get part of it? I don't know.
It's all part of the same.
Okay, so it's good. That's good. So that's a great, even better cause. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great cause.
Sure.
Are you just waving to me, or you actually have a question? No, just- All right, one at a time. Let's see.
I have a question about the people that are moving into the Carlo, have apartments there.
Nice folks, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
and they can eat so many meals. Can they eat in the dining room at night before they move in?
No.
Okay.
The reason for that is that we're still experiencing compression dining, right? And you all live here. You're the priority. Them getting to come in is nice, but it's not necessary. I hope, and I don't wanna really even say this out loud, but I hope to get the bistro open, soon. I think with the amount of staff that you know me, I like to underpromise and overachieve, so I don't wanna say a date, but I think with the amount of staff that we're getting, the interest that we're getting now, I think that we're gonna get the bistro open in the evening soon. Once the bistro opens for evenings, then we will allow those folks to come in, okay? Who's next? Yes, sir.
Are microphones part of the automation of this room?
The improvement to this room, yes. New microphones, there's new speakers in the ceiling, and the new microphones will make a big difference as well, yes. This guy up front.
I could just ask.
Maybe we want other people to be able to hear you though. Don't act like you're not used to the microphone. You're more used to the microphone than I am, I think.
All right. We're being picked up to go to the airport in the next 2 days, and I want to be sure. The harbor is closed as of tomorrow,
Yes,
so
have them pick you up at the marketing entrance.
we have to tell our ride.
The flagpole, look for the flagpoles, pick me up there.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, I have one once in a while. What's to be confused about? Sure, there's 4 entrances, but only one set of flagpoles.
Will there be a sign at the circular drive off of Bull Run that says don't enter?
Yes.
Bull Creek?
Bull Creek, yes, you won't be able to get in there. It'll be blocked.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Keep them coming, I'm ready.
I'm not knowledgeable about this, but I know that there is something called, it's a hearing device called something like teak oil that sometimes is embedded in a room like this.
Yes.
Is that anything we've considered, and do we feel like the systems that you're going to be installing would outrank?
We considered it, I was advised by the IT consultant that it's not a great system, so we didn't go with that. However, the system that's been installed and the smartphone devices that are now available work better than that system. We do have, I forgot what it's called, but we do have a hearing assistance system that we use in the space that's available as well. But the new system is supposed to be able to Bluetooth to your hearing aids as well, once everything's up and running. But it's all waiting on control boards, which are apparently back ordered and China's holding hostage, I don't know. But it's, I don't know, it's terrible. Is that it? Thank you all so much for being here, appreciate you.